Hey friends, it's Miss Erin with the Downers Grove Public Library, and one of the things I miss most about working in the library is talking to all of you and answering all of your questions. So a while ago, we asked everybody to send us some questions that they wanted to know about how the library works or what it's like to be a librarian or what we do. And I thought we could answer them, and so maybe that might help a little bit with some of the questions that you have. So somebody wanted to know, have you read every book here? Which is a really great question, and the answer is, I wish I had. But, friends, so I looked it up, because I'm a librarian, and of course, I want to have the right information for you. So, in total, we have 250,000 items here in the library. Now that's going to include things like DVDs and books and video games and the Anything Emporium items and all of the puzzles and resources that you can check out. So how many of those are actually books? I'm glad you asked. It's 198,000 books are currently in the library, which is a ton of books. And 79,000 of them are kids' books. And that number kind of changes every day, because a part of what we do as a librarian is find new books to buy. Every single day we're looking up stuff, either because you've recommended them to us, or we see them, we get emails about them from different publishers, we get magazines that tell us about books and materials. So every single day we're adding new things to the collection. And then sometimes items go missing, or they go lost, or they're damaged, so we have to take them out of the collection too. So that number kind of changes every day, but what it means is I wish I had read 79,000 books, but I didn't. Last year I read 265. It was pretty good, but it's not 79,000. I did bring you two of the ones that I really, really loved that I read last year. So this is for our older kids. It's Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows by Ryan Calejo. And I like this one especially for my kids who really love the Rick Riordan books, or the Rick Riordan Presents, like your Percy Jackson books or your Pablo Santiago books. In this one, Charlie Hernandez finds out that there's something different about him. Now, he's always heard a ton of stories from his abuela, all these different kinds of folk tales and fairy tales, or things that he thought were folk tales and fairy tales. But instead, after an accident involving his family, Charlie has to go and live with a guardian, and he starts discovering that there may be some truth to those folk tales, fairy tales, and myths that his abuela always taught him. And maybe, just maybe, there's something special about Charlie Hernandez, something that he didn't know the entire time. It's Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows by Ryan Calejo. Again, super fun, really great for mythology, really great for action and adventure and fantasy. It's a really great story. And I think there's another one out too. The other one I grabbed, I use this one a lot in story time. It's After the Fall by Dan Santat. And it tells the story of Humpty Dumpty up on a wall. And what happens after something very terrible has happened? How do you get back up after the fall? I use this in story time a lot. The illustrations are really great and big and colorful. And I like the motto that life happens when you get back up. So I haven't read every single story, but I have read a lot of really great ones. And we at the library can always recommend some good ones for you. We have book bundle forms. You can send us an email or give us a call and tell us the type of books that you like to read, and we can put together some stuff for you. So another question we got was, what book has been checked out the most? Now, we got an email about this last month from a librarian who was working, and it was a Dr. Seuss book, and it had checked out around 289 times. That's a lot of checkouts. And we eventually had to send it away because it was damaged. And that tends to happen a lot when books get checked out a lot. When kids really, really love them and they go from family to family to family to family and they go from library to library to library, sometimes books get damaged. So we don't always have books that check out a lot because they tend to get damaged. But we usually replace them too. But I wanted you to know, we just did the numbers from last year. So from all of 2020, we had 800,000 circulations. And that's things like ebooks and video games and movies and books, all kinds of things that we're checking out of our library. We were super, super busy. Even though we couldn't see you as often as we wanted, we were still working super hard to get you the things that you needed. Our other one is, do you ever visit other libraries? And we do. We visit other libraries for a number of different reasons. Sometimes we're going to meetings with other librarians to talk about how we can be better librarians. Sometimes we go to meetings to talk about different books and materials. Sometimes we go to meetings to talk about programs or how we can better help our schools. So we see other librarians at those libraries. Sometimes we go to libraries to look at new things that they've gotten, like a new display board or a new play area, so that we can get ideas that we can bring them back to our libraries too. So we do visit other libraries, and we, as you know, we borrow a lot of books from other libraries too to give to you guys. So we have a really good relationship with other libraries. And then I like to visit them because I check out books a lot. As a librarian, I read a ton. So if the Diners Grove Library doesn't have it, sometimes I go to my home library and find it too. Question 4. We get this one a ton. It's what happens if a book gets ripped or dirty. So if a book comes back to us and it's been ripped or dirty, whatever, we look at the book and we send it to a department in the library that's called the Access Services Department. And sometimes the Access Services Department can glue the book together. So, for example, if the book pages of like Charlie Hernandez were falling out, these aren't, but if they were, there would be a problem with what we call the spine of a book, which is right here. Like how you have a spine in your back, the book has a spine. And over time, sometimes that glue breaks down and the pages fall out. So Access Services has a device that can re-glue that and fix the spine of the book. They also have tape that they can re-tape stuff. They have DVDs, a DVD cleaner machine. I bring them DVDs a lot, and they clean them. You can see Access Services, and actually, the person who runs the Access Services Department's name is Amy, Miss Amy. We did a tour video, and she tells you a little bit more about what Access Services does, and talks a little bit about how to clean things. But sometimes materials can't be cleaned or fixed, and that's okay. It just means that we have to replace them. So we send them to the Access Services Department. They look at it and determine if they can or cannot fix it. If they can't, they let us know so that we can reorder it, especially if people really, really love it. And then they take it out of the catalog so that you don't see the book anymore if we don't have it. Which leads me to our last question, which is, how do the librarians always know where the books are when we ask? Well, it's because I've worked here for a while that I kind of have an idea just about where a lot of books are, especially ones that get checked out a lot. You kind of start to remember where different titles are and who wrote each book. But again, we have 79,000 kids books, so that's a lot of kids books to memorize. So what we use is a couple things. We use our catalog, so you might see at the desk we're typing in the computer, we're using a catalog. We'll have a video on how to look up stuff in the library as well, so that you could do it at home or when we reopen that you could see. And the catalog gives us the results. And what we primarily need is, again, this is Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows. What we really, really, really need to know is the call number. So in Charlie Ho, I keep saying Ryan, in Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows by Ryan Calejo, we need to know its call number, the sticker on the spine, remember? So in this case, it's J Fiction, Calejo R. I wanted to make sure that was right. And so it tells me that Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows is in the J Fiction section, and then I go alphabetical order by the author's last name to find it. So that's how I know. The catalog will tell me if the item is checked out, and our catalog, the catalog that the librarians use, is slightly different from the ones you guys see because it tells us when it was last checked out. Now, let's say a book just came back yesterday. It was checked back in yesterday. Somebody returned it yesterday. It might not be on the shelf just yet. So the catalog will tell me that so that I know it might not be on the shelf. I might have to look in different places. We also do displays throughout the year, or we put the Caudle books in a different section. We put the Monarch books and the Blue Stem books in a different section. And so the catalog tells me the location of the book. And so from there, I walk you to your place and I find the book for you. It's pretty fun. It's sometimes hard when books are missing. So sometimes it happens, people make mistakes, and they put books back where they don't belong. So that's a little hard because then I don't know where that book is. I know where it's supposed to be, but it's not on the shelf where it's supposed to be. So that's a little hard. It might take a little bit longer to find. But luckily, if we don't have a book, we can always order it from a different library and have it brought here so that you can have the material that you want to have. Now, those are some really great questions, guys. I really missed answering all the things, all the questions you guys have and telling you all the things you want to know about being a librarian. It really is a great job. We can't wait to see you. So you can check out the tour video and see a little bit more behind the scenes and all that great stuff, but hopefully see you soon. Bye!